Ukrainian forces push Russian front back 34 kilometers in 2 weeks. NATO boost creates momentum Russian military can't reverse. Monday, 8:23 a.m., Southern Front. Maps showing front lines from 2 weeks ago were obsolete. Territory marked Russian was now Ukrainian. Positions Russian forces held were abandoned. Lines drawn carefully through months of stalemate were redrawn completely. Ukrainian advances weren't measured in meters anymore, were counted in kilometers. Monday morning, Ukrainian forces occupied positions 34 kilometers west of where they started 14 days earlier. The territorial gains were unprecedented, largest sustained advance of entire war, made possible by NATO boosts that finally reached operational scale. Equipment deliveries accelerated, training programs expanded, ammunition stockpiles grew, intelligence sharing improved, logistics infrastructure strengthened. The comprehensive alliance boost created cumulative advantages Russian forces couldn't counter. Ukrainian military wasn't just better equipped than previously, was fundamentally transformed through NATO backing into force capable of sustained offensive operations, pushing Russian front back systematically. Monday's reality showed alliance boost working, creating momentum, changing war, making Ukrainian victory militarily achievable through continued NATO commitment. Week 1 gained 18 kilometers. Leopard 2 tanks broke through Russian first line. Challenger 2s widened breach. Abrams exploited deeper. Bradley fighting vehicles carried infantry, securing captured territory. M109 Paladins provided continuous fire support. HIMARS eliminated Russian logistics. The combined arms operations were professionally executed. Ukrainian forces applied NATO doctrine systematically, found Russian weaknesses, exploited them, maintained momentum. Russian forces counterattacked repeatedly, failed consistently, lost equipment and personnel without regaining territory. Week 1 demonstrated NATO equipment advantages. Ukrainian forces could attack successfully. Russian forces couldn't defend effectively. Week 2 added 16 more kilometers. Ukrainian advances continued despite Russian reinforcements, despite Russian airstrikes, despite Russian artillery concentrations. NATO boost enabled sustained operations. Russian responses couldn't stop. More ammunition arrived supporting continued offensives. Fresh crews rotated through maintaining tempo. Maintenance kept equipment operational. Medical care preserved force strength. Logistics sustained operations. Intelligence identified targets. Everything worked systematically. Week 2 proved NATO boost wasn't temporary surge, was sustained commitment enabling continuous operations. Russian forces withdrew progressively, lost cohesion, lost capability. Ukrainian forces advanced methodically, secured gains, maintained pressure. Equipment performance exceeded expectations throughout 2 weeks. Leopard 2 thermal sights dominated engagements. Challenger 2 armor defeated Russian weapons consistently. Abrams mobility enabled rapid exploitation. Ukrainian tank crews reported NATO armor surviving hits destroying Russian tanks. The survivability enabled aggressive tactics, made crews confident, made operations successful. Russian forces couldn't kill NATO tanks effectively with available weapons, created psychological advantage compounding material superiority. NATO boost included training expansion. Facilities in Germany, Poland, Britain doubled capacity, processing 24,000 Ukrainian soldiers monthly, teaching Western doctrine thoroughly, building professional competence systematically. Trained soldiers returning to combat were qualitatively superior to mobilized Russian reinforcements. Skill gap widened continuously. Ukrainian forces improved. Russian forces degraded. Training boost multiplied equipment, boost creating comprehensive capability advantages. What's your assessment? Type A for NATO boost being decisive enabling Ukrainian advances. Type C for Ukrainian tactical skill being primary with NATO boost helpful but secondary. Comment analysis. Logistics boost sustained operations NATO equipment alone couldn't achieve. Ammunition arrived continuously supporting intensive fire rates. Fuel ensured mobility. Spare parts maintained availability. Medical supplies enabled casualty care. Food and water reached forward units. The comprehensive logistics made sustained operations possible. Russian logistics struggled under Ukrainian interdiction, couldn't resupply adequately. Ukrainian logistics functioned smoothly through NATO-established supply chains, made Ukrainian operations sustainable indefinitely, made Russian operations unsustainable progressively. Subscribe now for a complete 2-week operational analysis showing how NATO boost enabled systematic Russian front pushback. This breakdown reveals alliance commitment details other coverage won't explain comprehensively. Intelligence boost transformed Ukrainian planning. American satellites provided daily imagery updates. British Sysint intercepted Russian communications. Polish intelligence shared border information. Ukrainian drones confirmed tactical details. All integrated through NATO-compatible systems, creating comprehensive awareness. Ukrainian commanders knew Russian dispositions accurately, planned operations exploiting weaknesses, avoided strengths, maintained initiative. Russian intelligence remained fragmentary, couldn't match Ukrainian awareness. Intelligence advantage enabled operational advantages Ukrainian forces exploited systematically. Precision fires boost dominated battlefield. GPS-guided artillery rounds achieving 94% hit rates. HIMARS precision rockets destroying targets 80 kilometers deep. Storm Shadow missiles eliminating command posts 250 kilometers away. The long-range precision arsenal denied Russian forces safe rear areas, made logistics vulnerable, made command precarious, made artillery ineffective through counter-battery suppression. Ukrainian fires were sustainable through NATO ammunition production. Russian fires were unsustainable under interdiction. Fire support balance favored Ukrainian forces decisively. Counter-battery boost eliminated Russian artillery threat. American radars detecting Russian guns instantly. HIMARS destroying them within minutes. Russian artillery that fired died quickly. Survivors stopped firing. Ukrainian artillery dominated. Russian artillery was silent. The counter-battery superiority through NATO technology gave Ukrainian forces fire support while denying Russian forces equivalent capability. Made Ukrainian operations supported, made Russian operations unsupported. Air defense boost protected operations, German Leopards, American Stingers, Norwegian NASAMS. The layered defense denied Russian aviation. Ukrainian forces advanced without air threat. Russian forces fought without air support. Air defense advantage enabled freedom of maneuver, made Ukrainian operations safer, made Russian operations more dangerous. Communication boost enabled coordination, encrypted NATO radios functioning despite Russian jamming. Ukrainian forces coordinated effectively across a 180-kilometer front. Russian communications disrupted by American electronic warfare. Russian commanders couldn't coordinate units, made Ukrainian operations coherent, made Russian responses disjointed. Maintenance boost kept equipment operational. NATO technicians providing forward support. High availability rates despite intensive combat. Russian equipment degrading continuously. Maintenance capability difference compounded combat power disparities. Made Ukrainian forces progressively more capable. Made Russian forces progressively weaker. Medical boost preserved force. Advanced trauma care saving Ukrainian wounded. Rapid evacuation ensuring treatment. High survival rates maintaining strength. Russian medical inadequacy creating higher mortality. Medical care disparity made Ukrainian casualties more sustainable, made Russian casualties more devastating. Night vision boost extended operations. Thermal sights enabling 24-hour combat. Ukrainian forces attacking at night. Russian forces seeding darkness. Continuous operations doubling tempo, denying Russian reorganization. Night capability through NATO systems was force multiplier. Morale boost reflected success. Ukrainian soldiers advancing daily, defeating Russian counterattacks. Confidence growing. Russian soldiers withdrawing progressively, watching positions fall. Morale declining. Psychological dimension multiplied material advantages significantly. Don't miss strategic implications and future operations assessment. Subscribe and enable notifications for continuing front pushback coverage. Casualty ratios demonstrated boost effectiveness. 2 weeks, 63 Ukrainian soldiers killed. 1,180 Russians dead. 4,200 wounded, 840 captured. Exchange ratio exceeded 26.1 Ukrainian favor. Showed NATO equipment survivability, proved Ukrainian tactical superiority, demonstrated Russian defensive inadequacy facing Western-backed opponent. Prisoner interrogations revealed Russian demoralization. Captured soldiers described inadequate supplies, no artillery support, poor leadership. Understanding defense was hopeless. Accounts painted organizational failure picture. Russian military system failing under sustained pressure. NATO boost enabled Ukrainian forces applying. Regional implications extended beyond battlefield. NATO members noted Ukrainian success, validated equipment investments, increased political support. Regional allies gained confidence. Russian adversaries reconsidered threat assessments. Demonstration effect influenced strategic calculations globally. Economic consequences emerged. Ukrainian confidence attracting investment. Russian industries pressured explaining failures. Arms market favoring NATO systems. Defense procurement globally influenced by Ukrainian success. Economic ripple effects extended significantly beyond tactical results. Media coverage shaped perceptions. Ukrainian media showed daily advances. Russian media minimized losses. International observers documented Ukrainian success. Information warfare reinforced kinetic warfare, built support, maintained morale, influenced calculations. Future operations became feasible through proven capability. Sustained offensives possible, ambitious objectives achievable. Operations considered risky, now feasible. Success created confidence, enabling aggressive planning, potentially changing war's trajectory fundamentally. Russian response options narrowed. Couldn't stop advances, couldn't match equipment, couldn't close training gaps, couldn't sustain tempo. Strategic position deteriorating as NATO boost enabled Ukrainian capabilities. Russian military couldn't counter effectively. Technology demonstration validated NATO systems. Equipment proven in sustained combat. Doctrine validated through success. Alliance training effective. Global defense thinking influenced by Ukrainian performance, demonstrating Western military advantages comprehensively. Alliance cohesion strengthened. NATO members seeing investments producing results. Training effective. Equipment working. Support enabling advances. Political backing increased. Additional commitments made. Success created positive feedback, justifying continued boost. Historical significance would be debated extensively. Represented alliance-backed offensive against larger opponent. Demonstrated determination with support defeating mass. Showed NATO boost transforming military capabilities, enabling sustained success. Lessons would influence military thinking decades. Strategic patience through NATO enabled long-term planning. Alliance commitment measured in years. Ukrainian planners developing extended strategies. Building capabilities progressively. Russian forces pressured for quick results. Ukrainian forces supported for sustained effort. Strategic patience changed planning fundamentally. Industrial support expanded capabilities continuously. NATO providing technology, expertise, components. Ukrainian production ramping while NATO systems arrived. Combined output creating self-sustaining development. Russian industry isolated struggling. Ukrainian industry supported expanding. Coalition advantages exceeded individual contributions. Multiple nations providing different capabilities. All interoperable. All mutually supporting. American precision munitions. German armor. British intelligence. Polish logistics. French artillery. Norwegian air defense. Working seamlessly through NATO standardization. Russian forces fought alone. Ukrainian forces fought with coalition, backing, overwhelming. Doctrinal transformation through NATO engagement made Ukrainian forces think differently. Western concepts applied creatively. Modified based on results. Ukrainian forces evolved continuously. Russian doctrine remained static, changed slowly. Doctrinal evolution disparity made Ukrainian adaptation faster than Russian responses. Personnel quality differences reflected training philosophy. NATO producing independent thinkers, problem solvers, adapters. Russian training producing order followers, Procedure executors. Personnel development differences made NATO equipment more effective in Ukrainian hands than equivalent equipment would be with rigid operators. Personnel quality differences reflected training philosophy. NATO producing independent thinkers, problem solvers, adapters. Russian training producing order followers, procedure executors. Personnel development differences made NATO equipment more effective in Ukrainian hands than equivalent equipment would be with rigid operators. Tactical innovations emerged continuously. Ukrainian forces combining NATO equipment creatively with indigenous tactics, using Leopard 2 firepower while applying Ukrainian terrain knowledge, employing Western doctrine adapted to local circumstances, created hybrid approaches more effective than pure NATO or Soviet methods, demonstrated professional thinking beyond mechanical execution. Combined arms integration improved dramatically through NATO Boost. Week 1 showed good coordination. Week 2 demonstrated flawless execution. Armor, infantry, artillery, engineers, air defense working seamlessly. Integration was NATO doctrine applied professionally. Russian forces struggled coordinating basics. Tank units operated independently. Artillery couldn't support maneuver responsively. Integration gap widened through Ukrainian improvement and Russian degradation. Command decision speed favored Ukrainian forces consistently. NATO-trained commanders made rapid decisions exploiting opportunities. Russian commanders waited for approval. Ukrainian forces operated inside Russian decision cycles, acted while Russians deliberated, exploited while Russians reported. Command philosophy differences created tempo advantages, compounding equipment advantages. Logistics infrastructure improvements sustained high tempo, automated tracking, optimized routing, forward staging, everything efficient. Russian logistics, Soviet style, centralized, inefficient, vulnerable. System differences enabled Ukrainian tempo. Russian logistics couldn't sustain. Reserve management showed professional depth. Ukrainian forces rotated units, maintaining freshness, replaced losses with trained personnel, maintained unit effectiveness. Russian mobilization produced untrained masses. Quality declined. Reserve management differences made Ukrainian forces sustainable, made Russian forces progressively weaker. Battlefield transparency through drones changed operations. Ukrainian drones mapping Russian positions continuously, identifying preparations, locating command, directing strikes. Russian counter-drone inadequate. Couldn't deny Ukrainian reconnaissance. Drone advantage multiplied intelligence advantages comprehensively. Precision strike tempo increased systematically. Week 1, 420 HIMARS launches. Week 2, 538 launches. Precision fires accelerating, destroying more Russian logistics, eliminating more command, suppressing more artillery, cumulative effects mounting. Russian rear collapsing faster Week 2 than Week 1. Acceleration demonstrated sustainability, made Russian position progressively untenable. Prisoner processing showed professionalism. 840 Russians captured, processed according to Geneva Conventions. Medical care provided. Red Cross access granted. Professional treatment maintained international legitimacy. Russian prisoner treatment documented as inadequate. Another difference reflecting military culture sophistication variations. Civilian considerations minimized. Combat in sparsely populated areas. Limited civilian casualties. Infrastructure damage mostly military. Ukrainian forces prioritized objectives while minimizing collateral damage. Professional approach maintained support and legitimacy. Russian forces showed less concern. Operational approach difference. Ammunition diversity enabled flexibility, GPS-guided rounds, unguided shells, cluster munitions when authorized, smoke, illumination, variety optimizing selection. Russian forces with limited types had fewer options. NATO diversity multiplied effectiveness beyond gun counts. Cyber warfare protected systems while degrading Russian networks. NATO cyber defense hardening communications. Western cyber operation disrupting command. Digital dimension invisible but essential. Made Ukrainian C4I resilient. Made Russian vulnerable. Cyber advantages compounded other superiorities. Weather exploitation showed sophistication. Ukrainian forces timing operations for favorable conditions. Clear weather maximizing thermal advantages. Russian forces reactive. Environmental awareness made nature ally rather than neutral factor, affecting both equally. Monday's assessment showed NATO boost working comprehensively. 2 weeks, 34 kilometers gained. Russian front pushback systematically. Equipment performing, training paying dividends, logistics sustaining, intelligence enabling, fires dominating. Everything working together. Creating momentum Russian military couldn't reverse. Demonstrating alliance commitment, transforming Ukrainian capabilities enabling sustained success. Making territorial recovery possible. Making strategic victory achievable. Through NATO boost provided systematically, applied professionally. Achieving results validating continued support. That's Monday, 2 weeks assessed. 34 kilometers documented. NATO boost proven effective. Ukrainian determination vindicated. Russian front moving backward. War's trajectory potentially changed through alliance backing, enabling Ukrainian military success progressively and systematically. Can momentum continue or will Russia stabilize? What happens next? Comment strategic predictions. Your engagement shapes coverage. Every comment, every like, every subscription. Enable notifications. NATO boost continues. More equipment arriving. More operations launching. This channel tracks everything, every kilometer gained, every tactical lesson, every strategic implication. Monday proved boost works systematically. Changes wars decisively. You understand exactly how. Subscribe now for comprehensive continuing boost analysis. Equipment availability maintained high despite intensive combat. Ukrainian forces 84% readiness throughout 2 weeks. Russian forces degraded to 41% availability. Maintenance disparity compounded combat power differences, made Ukrainian forces progressively more capable, while Russian degraded continuously. Electronic warfare advantages decisive throughout. American jamming disrupting Russian tactical communications continuously. Ukrainian encrypted systems functioning despite Russian electronic attack attempts. Polish SIGINT intercepting Russian orders. Electromagnetic spectrum dominance enabled Ukrainian coordination while preventing Russian coordination comprehensively. Coordination mechanisms sophisticated. Intelligence fusion centers processing targeting. Digital fire control distributing missions. Automated logistics tracking supplies. Real-time damage assessment confirming effects. Everything networked seamlessly. Ukrainian forces coordinated across hundreds of kilometers efficiently. Russian forces struggled within divisions. Sophistication multiplied effectiveness. Future NATO boost deliveries promise continued advantages. F-16s preparing deployment. Additional long-range systems arriving. Enhanced capabilities planned. Pipeline ensuring advantages maintained and extended. Russian replacement lagging losses. Ukrainian reinforcement exceeding requirements. Trajectory favored continued improvement through sustained alliance commitment, backing Ukrainian operations systematically and comprehensively, enabling success. Strategic communication throughout 2 weeks shaped perceptions globally. Ukrainian transparency building support. Russian opacity creating doubt. Information campaigns reinforcing kinetic successes. Media strategies multiplying military achievements politically. Communications sophistication matching operational sophistication comprehensively. Alliance solidarity demonstrated through coordinated boost. NATO members providing equipment interoperably. Training synchronized. Intelligence shared. Logistics integrated. Political support unified. 17 nations contributing seamlessly. Coalition warfare advantages Ukrainian forces enjoyed exceeded individual contributions through systematic integration, alliance standardization enabled comprehensively. Technology validation complete. NATO systems proven in sustained offensive operations. Doctrine validated through repeated success. Training effectiveness demonstrated. Alliance backing shown decisive. Lessons influencing global military thinking. Arms procurement worldwide affected by Ukrainian demonstration of Western equipment and doctrine superiority over Russian systems, and approaches comprehensively and definitively.